Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to turn some expert advice into a super clear 3-step roadmap for taking your English skills from just okay to genuinely fantastic, from being correct to being truly fluent. You know that feeling, right? You've hit that intermediate level, you've got a decent amount of grammar and vocabulary down, but you still don't feel totally confident. Maybe your speech feels a little stiff, and you know you don't quite sound like a native speaker. Well, that's the learning plateau. And yeah, it can be super frustrating. But hey, before we get discouraged, let's take a moment with this amazing advice from expert English teacher Rebecca. Mistakes aren't something to be embarrassed about. They're opportunities. Think of every single error you make as a little door, a signpost showing you exactly where you need to go to get better. So here's the real secret. Getting past this plateau isn't about memorizing another 100 words from a list. Nope. It's about completely shifting your strategy. It's about taking a journey through 3 very different levels of learning that are going to transform how you speak and write. Okay, let's dive right into level 1. This is all about zeroing in on those small but incredibly common mistakes that have a huge, and I mean huge, impact on how clear and natural you sound. Fixing these is honestly the fastest way to see a big improvement. Let's start with a really powerful pronunciation hack. So many learners see the letters OR at the end of a word and say, or. But in natural spoken English, that sound almost always becomes a soft er. So it's not doctor, it's doctor. Not error, but error. If you can master this one tiny change, I'm telling you, hundreds of words will instantly sound more authentic. And check this out, 4 grammar fixes that give you the most bang for your buck. First up, for stuff you can't count, like information or water, always use there is. Second, don't mix finished times like yesterday with the present perfect. So I have visited yesterday is a no-go. Third, the word not always comes after verbs like should or could. And finally, those tricky little prepositions. At for clock times, on for calendar days, and in for bigger chunks, like months and years. Nailing just these 4 will clean up your speech a ton. All right, let's climb up to level 2. Our foundation is solid, so now we can focus on what I like to call the music of the language. You know, the expressions and the little nuances that make your English flow and sound a lot less like it came out of a textbook. And one of the biggest tools for this level is the idiom. These are those phrases that native speakers use constantly, where the words themselves don't really tell you the meaning. Using these correctly is a massive sign of fluency because it shows you get the culture behind the language, not just the dictionary definitions. Here are 5 super common idioms you can start using like right now. If something happens all of a sudden, it came out of the blue. If you and your coworkers all agree, you're on the same page. When you finish work, you call it a day. And if your computer stops working, you can just say it's on the fritz. Seriously, just try to use one of these this week and see how it feels. Now, this is another simple switch with a powerful result. In English, just saying, I want, or asking, can sometimes sound a little bit blunt, but if you upgrade that to softer words like I would like or could you instantly sound more polite. This is a huge piece of sounding natural because it shows you understand those little social rules. It's a tiny change in words, but a massive change in tone. And that brings us to level 3. This is where we elevate our English for more formal and professional spaces. It's about choosing words that aren't just correct, but are also precise, powerful, and really project confidence. The real key here is moving from simple, everyday phrases to stronger, more specific verbs. So, for example, instead of saying you need to find out what's wrong, you say you need to identify the problem. Instead of sort out the problem, you resolve the issue. See? This kind of vocabulary just makes you sound so much more decisive and capable at work. Now let's apply this to something we all do, writing a formal email. As you can see, you always want to use a specific subject line and a formal greeting. It's also really important to write out the full words, so no contractions like I'll, and no abbreviations like ASAP. And hey, remember those cool idioms from level 2? This is where you leave them behind. Keep it direct and professional. So there you have it, the 3 levels to break through that learning plateau. Let's put this all together and talk about the single best way to make this work for you. This is your path forward. You start at level 1, making that foundation rock solid. Then you build on top of that in level 2 by adding the color and flow of natural speech. And finally, you polish it all off in level 3 with powerful professional language. Each level builds perfectly on the one before it. So, what's the ultimate strategy to tie all this together? It's actually really simple. You have to become a detective of your own mistakes. When you say something and it feels a bit off, or you make an error, don't just forget about it, jot it down. And then ask yourself, was that a level 1 foundation error, a level 2 naturalness issue, or a level 3 opportunity to use stronger vocabulary? When you do this, your own mistakes become your perfect, personalized study guide. And that really leaves us with one final thought. Real progress doesn't come from trying to do everything at once. It starts with one single consistent step. So looking at these 3 levels, what is the one new habit you are going to start this week to begin your journey off that plateau for good?